By now, I'm sure, another meeting this morning. Well, we spoke yesterday, didn't we, to the Mid-Derbyshire MP Pauline Latham, who went public and called for another meeting to hear some updates from the administrators from the English Football League. That meeting happened this morning with local MPs and those two parties. One of the members who was there, Derby North MP Amanda Solloway. Hi, Amanda.
Morning, how are you?
Yeah, very good. Did that go on longer than you expected?
Yes, we'd hoped, obviously, it was going to happen on Monday, and we had a meeting yesterday saying that we absolutely needed this meeting to go ahead today. I think we had it for an hour, and it went on a bit longer than that, actually. It was about an hour and a half, an hour and three quarters. So, yes.
What was the mood of the meeting like?
Well, I have to say, the clarity is always useful. It's always really helpful getting the right people in the room, and it did seem as though we did have the right people in the room. And it's been a long time getting there, I would say, but finally it felt as though it was really positive to get clarity on the situation.
So what have you got new clarity on that you can explain to fans?
Well, obviously, Ian, that there are some things when you have these discussions that you can't talk about, and apologies for that, and nor would you expect me to. But I suppose there are things just to just to highlight, and some of which, of course, you will know already. I mean, first of all, the situation is incredibly complex, and it was really interesting to hear from the administrators, interesting to hear from the EFL around those complexities. And as well as that, it is worthwhile just saying to anybody who's listening, this is a serious situation, and we should not underestimate that. I don't think anybody is underestimating it, but it's a really serious situation, because the last thing that anybody wants is for Derby County to go under, and that is why we are really pressing to keep on having these meetings. Other things that I gleaned from it is that that there are certain things that need to be resolved, and we know what those issues are. We've heard them talk quite publicly. There are some issues around the Middlesbrough and Wickham claim. There are some issues around HMRC. There are complexities, but I think for me the key thing is that we have all of us, and it was cross-party, by the way. Also, MPs were there as well from outside, in terms of really applying the pressure in terms of moving forward.
As you understand it, the things that we all know about, the claims from the other football clubs, the legacy debts, the ownership of the stadium, are those things, are they red lines? Are they stumbling blocks for the interested parties, or is there a way forward on the face of it?
Well, this was exactly what we were talking about. Is really how to deal with those lines, and thinking about how we get over those stumbling blocks. And again, I'm afraid I can give you my reassurance that we are working our way towards that. I'm afraid I can't say any more than that, because I wouldn't want to compromise the situation. But and I'm really happy. We're having another meeting next week. I'm incredibly happy to come back and say how that meeting goes and how we've moved forward from today's meetings. But it would be remiss of me to compromise that conversation.
Are you feeling personally more optimistic for the club after today's meeting?
I. A couple of weeks ago, I was not optimistic at all, and then my optimism rallied a little bit, because there are, as we know, preferred bidders, which is good to know that there are people out there who want to buy Derby County. The other thing to bear in mind is that nobody wants to see Derby County go under. That's very clear from the EFL administrators, from anybody actually who I've been talking to. However, the reality of the situation is that it is a really serious situation, and the fans have been applying the pressure. We know you've got Black and White Day today, the march on Sunday, all of those things. We're just keeping that pressure going.
I mean, I've got to say, and I understand that you're telling us there are things that are in confidence in these get-togethers,
Yeah.
but from a fan's perspective, listening to you answering the question, are you more optimistic? It sounds like a kind of not really.
Well, I always believe in being honest with you. You know that, Ian. And I think there is a way through this. I really do. But I think we must not underestimate the difficulties that lie ahead. We know that the deadline has been extended. That may well be a possibility to extend that. I am fully confident that from the meeting today, the right pressure is being applied to the right people, and that there was urgency before, but there is even more urgency on what's going to take place next week. So I am hopeful that things will be are making the right route. They definitely are further on today than they were yesterday.
Just finally, Chris Poulter, the
Yes.
council leader, told us the other night that there's another meeting, I think, later today with
Yeah.
Mel Morris. Do
Yeah.
you know what the purpose of that one is? I know you're attending as well.
Yes, I don't know, unfortunately. I've literally been on this meeting for a couple of hours this morning. I don't know what it's going to be about, but I think it will be incredibly helpful. I certainly haven't spoken to in a meeting situation to Mel Morris, so it'd be really good to have that conversation take place and find out exactly what the situation is. Is there something that he could do to be helpful? I don't know at the moment what that meeting will say. And I do know, I think there are relevant leaders going on it, as you say. So Chris Poulter will be on that meeting, Chief Executive of the Council, Marketing Derby, etc. Team Derby, basically.
Amanda, thanks for filling us in. I'll let you go. I know you're late for a meeting already to talk to us.
Yeah.
Fresh out of that meeting with the EFL and the administrators, Derby North MP Amanda Solloway.